hear the music, we're live. So refresh the page on the Gray Area Media and then share the live feed. Starting now. Let me mute.
I ain't even in the shot. Oh, there we go.
Hello, viewers. We are live on Facebook. This is the Gray Area, and this is your boy Ray E.
And this is your boy P. Wills. What's happening?
And this is Ebony.
Ebony back with us, y'all.
Hey,
After
hey.
getting all this doggone sunshine, been on the beach, been posting pictures, pissing everybody off. Where was you at?
Cocoa Beach, Florida, Orlando, Florida, and the Bahamas.
She was on the shores of Gary, Indiana. That's what
Yes.
she was.
You ain't fooling nobody.
She went to
Freezing.
Gary.
Freezing in my swimsuit.
We seen them buildings in the background.
Okay.
I love Gary. I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there. Because I don't want no smoke
None at all.
All right.
from Gary or my wife. So we have some special guests here today, y'all. A couple of them have been just all-time veterans. We got about 4 veterans in here. Wait a minute.
Feel old.
Once you come back at least twice, Kia, this is your second time.
It is.
So you a veteran now.
Get her name right too, please. Get her
Brandon,
name
we
right.
can't even
How
count
can
no
you
more.
get Kia wrong? Who's gotten Kia wrong?
She was recently, or she was married.
Oh, last
She
name?
was last
Kia
time.
right now.
It
Got
threw
it
me for a loop. I was looking all over
She was like
Facebook.
Evans, but it's not Wells. It's right.
It's right.
Get it right.
Well, congratulations, Kia, right?
Thank you.
On your
Congratulations,
yeah,
John, too.
on your union.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Brandon, we got a board on the wall outside.
Yeah.
We just mark one down every time you come through.
It feels like
You-
home.
You up to about 6 or 7.
I think it's
Five or six.
Nah,
5 or 6.
Nah, man, ain't that much, man.
It's about 5.
It's about
It's
five.
about
About
5.
five.
See?
Well,
And
we're-
listen, man, it doesn't matter. We appreciate your support.
That's what I was
bro.
going to say. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I mean, man, what you're doing for the community is great, man. We just love to have updates and hear what's going on, especially because you guys represent Bloom Project and Voices Corp. Executive,
I'm doing a hybrid.
executive director, CEO, founder.
Yes.
Did I get all that right?
Yes.
Okay. And Brandon, you're the program director of both of these programs.
Yes.
Okay. And we appreciate that.
Okay.
And Brandon, you have brought 3 young fellows with you. 2 of them have been here before. Chance Blackwell, Jaden Martin.
Yeah. Good to be back always.
It just seemed like y'all was young bucks, man. Y'all didn't stepped up y'all game
Well,
a little
still
bit. Y'all
young.
look a little collegiate now.
I'm just making different moves. That's all. I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
young, just making different moves.
I
That's
heard
all.
that.
And then we got a new face. Royale Williams is in the
Come
building.
on. Come through.
My name.
We've been trying to. There's a
Wait a
smile.
minute,
See,
I
we've been
just
trying to get
remember.
him to
Weren't you a
smile.
rapper, Roya?
Yeah, I know how to rap.
You got a rap
You
too?
see?
So we got 3
A
rappers.
room of musicians right here.
Oh, wait a
Past
minute.
it.
We gonna have to get it in with 3 rappers.
Bishop.
Okay, we gonna get to that in a minute. We gonna cut that. So this conversation is about crime prevention, planning, the dialogue around CICF awarding you both grant money to help curb crime in the city. Could you both talk to that? Brandon, start with you.
Yeah, so as far as the Bloom Project aspect, so we were able to receive money through CICF for our Project King workshops. And so what that includes is character development. So we bring in facilitators from the community. Usually it's either Black or Hispanic men, because we want to make sure there's representation there for our kings. And they talk about all sorts of different things. So we just wrapped up our workshops this past weekend on emotional intelligence. So getting to know who you are, looking at social management of relationships, but really defining how do you develop empathy, how you develop trust within yourself, and then replicating that with other people.
Okay.
And then next month we'll be talking about growth mindset. So the goal is to kind of do these soft skills, but they're not even really soft skills. They're skills that you need as a foundation in order to, really figure out who you are, your identity. So we really value that. And it's interesting for me because we do the same thing at Voices. And so
Right.
I get to kind of see the cross-sectional
Sure.
aspect of it. And so the goal is to keep building on each workshop. And so that develops your self-esteem, your level of peer interaction. And by doing that, that kind of cuts off that possibility of maladaptive behavior. And so with them, we really value how they build that brotherhood and that bond.
Okay.
And so by that, then they're showing other young men, hey, you ain't got to do all that. Like, come to Bloom and we got you. We're going to take you in.
Absolutely. Kia, you pull it a little closer. There you go. Don't be shy.
No, I am. So our program is called Power and Promise.
Okay.
And it is a youth leadership, peer mentoring type program. So we are taking system impacted youth, kids that are in DCS, juvenile probation, and we are paying them for training that we do in our program. So these kids will get paid to be trained in asset-based community development, character development, building relationships, conflict resolutions, ages 14 to 17. And so once they're trained, we take them into the elementary schools and the middle schools, and they're working with the younger kids.
Okay.
The whole thought behind it is they're more likely to listen to each other, you know what I mean, versus
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
So why not give them some skills? We loosely based this off of a program in Chicago called Saving Our Youth, where they
Okay.
took kids in what they labeled high crime areas and matched them with other kids in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
The only difference with our program is we're working with kids that are currently involved in the systems. And so that model hasn't been studied that much, and so we're
Okay.
really excited to be able to try something like that here.
It's amazing that both of these programs exist. You guys are really a standard for two non-for-profits
Yeah.
collaborating,
Yeah.
even
Very
having
much
the same program director on both. That, to me, that is amazing and important for us, like as a community, to start working with other nonprofits. And you're going to have some of that cross collaboration.
Absolutely.
So tell us about how that's working for you in regards to working for both programs.
So it's, for me, I don't know anything else. So I've worked with youth for 10 years. I've been with Bloom for 5 years. I've been with Voices for about a year and a half. And so the ability to see the greatness in, young men, specifically young men of color, because a lot of times, regardless of what program, society still has an image of young black males, right? The news still doesn't show up, regardless of, to demonstrate their leadership, but to affirm their voice. Because what we tell all of the young people that we're working with is your voice is power. Like, regardless of what society tells you, regardless of what program you might join, your voice is power. And you have to be able to understand that. Nobody can empower you. It's already there. But you have to be able to find that inside and use it. I know with Voices we use, there's an author, his name is Dr. Sean Ginwright. And he talks a lot about a different version of trauma-informed care called healing-centered engagement. And so that really captures the cultural, the community aspect, and how reclaiming your power through your voice leads to healing, which leads to reconciliation, which leads to restorative justice in that community.
Right.
So we use that at Voices, and we use that similar approaches at Bloom, where we're building connections, because everything is relationship centered.
Right.
So my perspective is I get to see how the similarities are in both programs, but I get to see how my Bloom Kings may not have had to experience certain things,
Right.
but they're still young men.
Right.
My Kings and Voices, they're still young men, and they're powerful young men.
Right.
Like, they're so amazing, and we just want to center that and spot it like that.
That's
And I
awesome.
think, just to add on that, for me as an organization, it's really important to kind of take it back to how we were raised.
Right.
It was a whole neighborhood being accountable for you.
Sure.
You knew your
Just
neighbor
a
could
village,
call
right?
your mama.
Right.
you knew an auntie could give you a whooping. It did not matter. Discipline was going to be there and some guidance was going to be there.
Right.
And so I feel like as an organization, if we can surround the kids, because at the end of the day, it's all about them anyways. It doesn't matter how we get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we can surround them with like-minded individuals and organizations, I think the impact is a lot greater. So for us, I think it's super important, but it's going to benefit our kids too. And so I think it's really important just to continue to work together. I mean, the need is out there. It's enough.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is like the biggest problem for, other, organizations to not work together?
I mean, I think it's a lot of different stuff. I mean, the pools of money when you're going after grant funding are small. You know what I mean? But there's a whole bunch of ideas. There's a whole bunch of people that have, good intentions. And so when everybody is vying for that same pot of money, it does get competitive. And I think that prohibits and kind of holds back a lot of people, just on a business level of, working together. And then, of course, ego comes in it, but, it's really easy to sift through that when you stay grounded in the work. And so all that other stuff kind of becomes irrelevant.
And also, youth work can be a bandwagon thing. So crime prevention, youth crime reduction. Some people hop on the bandwagon because it's trendy.
Yeah.
Right.
There are funds that are now available.
Right.
Kia's been in this work for over 10 years. I've been in this work for over 10 years. So for us, this is our
Consistent.
life.
Yeah.
Like we don't know anything in the trenches, per se.
Right.
Some people with young people, you don't hop in and hop out.
Right.
Like you have to stay.
Long time.
Programs like Voices and Bloom. We're not gonna talk crazy. We're not gonna throw shade. We just need you to get it. If you don't, that's fine. It's not your speed. But
Attack the same angles when they come at trying to get money for for crime prevention or whatever it is. Everybody is good at something.
Right.
Even though you guys are attacking the youth, you have an interesting perspective when you deal with trying to capture kids and put them in the programs.
Right.
You're dealing with two groups of kids. So why aren't people attacking that perspective of, okay, maybe we're good at going out and grabbing kids who are what they consider trouble kids. Maybe we're good at finding kids who are in school, achieving, but can't quite fit in.
Right.
There's ways to curve crime and go at it a different way. If everybody just jump in, like you guys are collaborating, but coming from two different angles. I was so happy when I seen that you both were awarded, because I'm like, man, they're doing two different things, and people don't realize the impact that has, because you're attacking the same goal now.
Yeah, there's so
So
many
that's
other
important.
so many other different niches of children. Like you have the emo group. I don't know too many organizations that are for the emo groups. Those are we used to call them gothic back in our days, but they're the ones paint the nails and they love to draw anime and all those types of things. And they have emotional problems. They have same type of issues. They have family issues. They have issues just like all other students or children rather.
Yeah.
And so that's another niche. Somebody can start a program just for emo children or children that are in that particular group and don't have the same supports as everybody else.
Right.
So because they commit crimes or they they fall victim to certain crimes and things like that, just like anybody else.
Yeah,
so like you said, it should be competition.
It's enough for everybody to jump in and help.
All that matters is the work.
And there's so many kids, so many schools, so many ways to attack it. Collaborating with groups and saying, okay, what are you guys attacking? Like, what are we not? What are you? What are you're attacking? But you can't attack because you are absorbed in this part of it. You say, okay, well, we can't get to these kids who are in this situation, and then you go from there.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Especially y'all,
over there, man.
especially y'all two, man. We go get him together. We got him to smile when we
This
say
is
his
like
name.
the induction process now.
So do we have to say?
College, bro.
Yeah. He's in college. Congratulations. How's that going? How's that going?
And he got a whole whole swath of hair on his chin.
Let's not gas him
going
up.
on?
Let's not gas him up. He got a little bit.
What's going on here?
It's going
Nah, he
college
more than
goes.
fuzz.
It's a little stressful, but I'm pushing through.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Gotta do
Look
it.
like a young
College is a-
Easy. young easy.
No.
Cruising down the street now.
NWA.
On my bicycle, I still ain't got no cord.
Uh-oh.
I'm taking
That's
it back
right.
to school.
That's
Couch.
What's wrong?
Absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with not having money in
That's
college.
right.
Oh, yeah.
It's when you get your degree and you get out of college and you
Then
ain't got
I'll
no
make
money.
it.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because, That's supposed to be how it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
Right.
focus
But
on school. That's it.
We can
That's your
attack that
job.
many different ways,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
And I'm not going to say that school and college is the overall way to be successful because there's many ways of being successful.
That's
true.
College, look at college as a backup plan.
Right.
If what I want to do outside of that doesn't work, then at least I got this degree.
Yep.
That's on a
Yeah.
bachelor's paper, money paper, anything that got to do with paper. So you got to understand that. Look at it as a backup plan. Don't totally give up on college. Just say, hey, you know, if I can't do this, at least I got this.
Yep.
So, but again, we're living in a technology age where y'all have everything at y'all disposal. I don't even think y'all realize like what y'all have right now.
Or do you realize it?
Like I'm jealous because it went from like beepers and these big phones to, I mean, like I can't even find nothing in here.
Oh, beepers.
I mean, we used to have these big old phones. Like, yeah, I hear you, cuz. If your phone was big, that means you had money back then. Now with the smallest phone, you got the most money.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flip phone.
Also,
Even
I also
that-
feel like it's a generational thing as well, though.
Sure.
Because I mean, yes, with technology wasn't as advanced back then,
Mm-hmm.
which I grew up on that.
Yeah.
So that was what I had. We didn't grow up on that. We grew up with this stuff, which means although it comes with its pros, it also comes with its cons for our generation.
You was winding up? Okay.
I was gonna get there.
Because I need to know what the cons is.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Okay, so sure we may have a lot of information at our fingertips, but going back to what you were saying, like, or what I was saying with the generational thing, some things we need to do what you did in your generation to get
Some
information.
traditional stuff.
Because although a lot is available at our fingertips through our phones and on computers and stuff like that, not all the information we need is there. A lot of that is newer information. A lot of things date so far back that
Right.
it's just not in computers. It's just not. So we have to go old-fashioned ways to get the information.
Be careful.
Technology was better back then.
I wasn't gonna say that's why I
Be
put
careful
quotation
now.
marks around it.
Technology was better back then. If you had the internet and you didn't hear that dial up,
That dial up.
You got mail. Everybody know that. Y'all don't even know nothing about that.
Listen, I got cussed out many a day, boy.
Straight up.
That's right. Nobody could be on the internet. Somebody's getting kicked off the phone. We had to
Yeah.
deal with stuff like that.
Videos take 45 minutes to load, boy.
Straight up.
So, but what I'm saying is like, and you got some valid points because there is almost too much information at your disposal to the point where y'all get bored with technology, and it's unfortunate, but I think we need to have some accountability for that because we was like, this new technology, let me go ahead and give them this phone or this tablet,
Yeah.
and now y'all have access to it, and y'all go focus on the wrong things, YouTube and all these other things, and we sitting here like, damn, we done gave them too much instead of
Right.
teaching them and helping them understand how to sift through the good information.
Because you probably know how to sift through the information.
And I think what you said was a good point because I mean, with the dictionary, you can't read the dictionary, then a notification pop up at the top of the dictionary telling you to go do something else. As with phones, if we're doing homework on our phones or on a laptop or something, we get an email, it pops up right.
There's no way I could have had Google. I would have cheated all day.
Oh my
I would
God.
have been on Google cheating all day.
See, you got stuff like my classroom. We got it's called Dino. I don't know. Did y'all have Dino in your school? Well, in our district, we have Dino. We can see everything that the students are looking at, like in real time.
Oh,
Like
wow.
searching on the
So-
internet?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
we
So
do that with
everything.
No
IXL.
And they
Yeah.
will find ways around that.
Well, they
Proxy
try it.
websites.
Students,
They
hey,
try it, but you can
students be
tell
slick,
if they're
boy.
not in browser. It'll say
Absolutely.
out of browser.
Oh,
And so what I do, I post it up on the screen. So schools too, they also know
She
what
the
you're saying.
all-seeing eye.
Shoot, I'm omnipresent, honey. I
God.
see what y'all doing while I'm walking away. Try to be slick. No,
That's
but
necessary.
yeah, it's technology.
That's necessary. But see, these things come about because of technology. Like laws and rules. Everything come about because somebody did something. Like years ago, they had a law. I think it was in correct me if I'm wrong. It's maybe in Virginia, but you couldn't walk with a chicken on your head across the state house because people used to do it so prevalently years ago.
why is that a thing?
It was a thing because this is why laws get in
walk with
place.
the chicken
So
on
there's a
your
law in
Yeah,
place
walk
that
with the
says you
chicken on your
can't
head.
walk near the state house with a chicken on your head.
Is that still in place?
No, it's not in place
I was about to say
anymore.
because I get arrested.
There's
for that.
there's a lot of
That's
laws
what I'm
like
saying.
that. that are
There's a
kinda
lot of laws that
still
came
in
about
place.
because of what people used to do,
Right.
and that still
Jim
exists
Crow
today.
laws. Let's talk about that.
If somebody does too much of something that gets on people's nerve, they'll put a law in place to stop it.
Wow.
So these extra rules and stuff come about because people find ways to get around stuff. But Chance, talk to me real quick, man. I seen you performing at Robert Jackson's thing.
Yeah, man.
You was on stage doing your thing. I'm
did a
like,
good job
look at
doing
Chin,
that too,
still
man.
out here flowing.
Chin
You
does
did
a
a good
lot of
job
stuff.
too, man.
So tell
He's
us
a
about what's
musician?
been going on with you.
To be honest, I just been so. For me, like last time I came here, I was a little bit more shy than I am now.
Okay.
I
So
heard that.
I wasn't like talking as like.
Hey,
Yeah,
Chance,
yeah,
Chance,
I was
hold
now.
on. Chance, who is she?
He is got that
Who is
shit.
she?
I heard that. He said my mother.
Yeah, there you
Who is
go.
she, Chance?
That's what I'm
Hey,
talking
Chance,
about.
hey, great answer, but who is she?
It's confidential.
Confidential.
Need to know, basically.
Confidential information. She watching right now. Look at the feed. Who just turned in? We got waves.
No, but
Nah,
I've
but
really
tell
been just self-improving, with music and everything, like school, just everything really.
Yeah. So what are your plans, man?
My plans, well, I want to go to HBCU after high school, so
Nice.
Morehouse University.
Okay. All
Nice,
right.
man. Nice.
If that doesn't work, but that's the main plan. But if that doesn't work, then Ball State University for architecture.
That's a good college.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good college. Architecture was one thing that I was really interested in when I was in high school because I used a program called AutoCAD. AutoCAD is
remember
probably
that.
ridiculous now. Like
remember that.
back when I had it, it was sticks and stones. It was like we had to draw clothes with lines. It was crazy. But now that's a big thing in architecture. If you see India, and if you like architecture, I know you like India because that's all architecture. So stick with that if you can.
What are your goals with your music?
My goals with my music is to spread positivity and love. That's main thing that I promote on my Instagram, on all forms of social media.
Keyboard.
I mean,
And he does, and he knows
You
he
play
can
keyboard?
play some
You know.
90s hits, y'all.
Absolutely.
Nice.
He
Nice.
plays some
Don't be acting
90s
like it's something
songs.
light.
Nice.
I know, he's being so humble.
He acting like, it's just a dabble,
like,
Dabble, listen to him.
I play the piano. That's something that I really am into as far as instruments. If I could, I mean, I can learn every instrument that I could.
Yeah.
But
What's your favorite 90s hits? I was having a 90s concert
favorite?
in my car today.
oh man,
What's your favorite 90s hit to play?
Oh, to play?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you was playing one the other day.
I think
Your mom
Stevie
had
Wonder.
one. You played.
Stevie
Was it
Wonder,
Stevie Wonder? It was something else you was
yeah.
playing.
I gotta think of the song now. It's a Stevie Wonder song, but it's a hit. I think it's "Ribbon in the Sky."
Ribbon in the Sky.
Yeah.
That's a nice song.
Yeah, and then I can play.
You play classical?
Yeah, I play. I'm playing "When the Saints Go Marching In," but it's like a
When
jazz.
you
It's
sing,
like a jazz type of feel.
Not the Randy
Same
Watson
cheese.
version. Not-
when you sing.
Yeah, I gotta do that for the solo.
How much, baby?
I just want to put out a disclaimer. That is not me.
right.
When you sing.
I haven't even heard the Saints
let you
sing it like
finish.
that in church.
Wait, y'all must haven't seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
They have never
Oh
sang that
my
song
God.
on When the Saints.
Yes, they
What
did.
was that?
Ken Williams did. Yes, she did.
I don't remember that.
The bar scene. Do you want me to? Hey, we can YouTube
No,
remember
please
quick.
don't. Please.
That's
That'll
like
be
the
like the
funniest.
after show.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be the after segment.
She was singing that in the bar.
Okay. Royale.
So,
There it is. I know that's right.
All right now,
Let
little
you
Snoop
get
Lion.
comfortable. Comfortable.
What's going on with us,
Snoop
man?
Cub.
What's going on with you, man?
Really, I want to start off with how big of an impact this program that
I
I'm in
heard
on my
that.
life.
you
Listen
go.
to you,
I
Royale.
only been in there for like 3 weeks, but I tell you,
I
it give
love
me the
it.
confidence to achieve my goals.
Nice, man.
I
my
love
life.
it.
Like at first, before I'm gonna be honest with you, I went there and I learned. Like I don't really trust people, but I trust them, and I just met them because I could tell by the way that they treat me
energy,
that
man,
they
the
care
vibe.
about me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Nah, like their energy, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they give off a nice vibe, something that I
I
don't get
love it.
in my environment that I'm from.
That's
'Cause
beautiful.
when I went there, I'm gonna be honest, I'm on the bench, I'm on probation, and usually to the outside of people, they usually look at us as juvenile delinquents, but to them, we not just product of our environments. We something else. We could be bigger. Like he said, we kings.
I heard
And we
that.
walk in greatness.
Absolutely,
Yes, sir.
It's a mentality, man.
man. I love hearing that.
Listen,
Emotional.
let me tell you. So we get a lot of students to come through.
Still off. Wait a minute.
we get a lot of students to come through, but we have not had many students like Royale. So first day, he's like, so every morning we do morning discussion. So we create a few journal topics and we kind of go from there. And we were talking about, I don't remember what we were talking about, but he was just like in the cut, like observing. And so what we do is we go around a room, and if anybody want to give their response, they can. He starts giving this like dissertation level style response, and we're just like, hold on, what? This the new kid? And he came out the gate with wisdom. And then like even today, like you want to tell them about the hoodie?
Oh yeah.
Cause
I had this hoodie on and it had like these guns and they said, "What, you got a gun charge? What you got that on for?" And I was like, "You ain't even really getting a big picture of it. You see, it was the hoodie had guns on there and it was really the flag." And I said, "You see, what this really mean is how guns has overtaken our country and kids like me is catching gun charges because that's in our environment." And I'm wearing this as a protest that this will not define me, basically. That's why I wore it. But guns is not like nothing. I don't. Let me see. I don't promote guns or nothing like that.
Right.
But I promote the message that jacket is giving.
What side of town are you from, man?
What side of town? I'm not even from here. I'm from Gary.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
G.I.
Shout out to Gary.
I love Gary.
The gray area has been blessed with Gary again.
Always. Gary is, you know what's amazing about Gary? No, I'm serious. There's a lot of resilient people.
Oh my God, I was just
come out of
saying that
Gary.
the other day. I have never met anybody from Gary that does not have a drive of some sort.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
a lot of times, a lot of the people
Yes.
that are entrepreneurs and business owners in this city that are doing well are from Gary. You know, so you know, I
You have
commend.
no choice coming from Gary.
But that's okay. I mean, some of us live such privileged lives as black people in America that we don't understand the struggle to actually have a drive to do something because we think everything is okay because we're comfortable. So, I mean, I commend people that come from discomfort because those are the people that have the drive that most of us should really be envying.
A lot of the people from Gary are real people who love each other and they know where they come from.
Privilege.
You can't forget where they come from.
Right,
and I know because my wife is from Gary and I've met her family and a lot of them. And I could tell you that these are really genuine people. And they have a drive like no other. I'm telling you, it's a serious thing. So, and I commend anybody that realizes that the environment that they're in is not that great, and then they get out of it somehow. Whether your mom bring you out or whether your family, that's commendable to do that. Because my mother took us from Chicago. I'm Cook County, born in Chicago. In the worst parts of Chicago, bullets flying. We 1, 2, 3 years old walking to daycare. That's how bad it was.
You walking to daycare, woman?
Oh, we walked to daycare every day, hand to hand. My older sister at 3, 4 years old used to walk. We used to walk to daycare hand to hand because my mother just couldn't afford to do it. You know. So the thing is like my mother decided to pull us out of Chicago and bring us here somewhere where it was a different environment. And I thank her for that because, I mean, I seen the hood, but I didn't know the hood like the Chicago hoods. You see how Chicago get crazy right now. And I'm just in shock. I'm like, wow, I'm glad you pulled us up out of there. So it's important for people to recognize, especially parents, to recognize that the environment that you have your kid in, it may not define them, but subconsciously, that's where they come from, and they could resort to that. You know, that survival mode. It's good to have the survival mode. It's good to have the street mode. But at the end of the day, when you got to decide how you gonna put food on the table, you got to feed your little brother and sister. You got to figure it out. At the end of the day, you're gonna do what you got to do. So it's important for us to provide y'all with the tools y'all need to get out of where y'all at and get in programs like the Bloom Project and Voices Corp. Who appreciate young men and make them leaders. Yeah. You know, we've seen that in YouTube. You know what I mean? It's hard to see. That's why I was excited to know that y'all was coming tonight because y'all done been on a couple times. You been on a couple times? I think you've been on once before. So it's always good to get a follow up to see how y'all doing and what's going on with y'all, and to know that y'all have not become a victim of the street. because whether you are trying to become or not, it's dangerous out here. It's like really crazy. You know, we get targeted for stuff that we're not even really necessarily involved in, whether that could be bullets flying all over the place, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. A lot of people don't know that black people live a traumatizing life sometimes. And I'm not pushing that on anybody. I just want people to realize that we come from some pretty dark places, and it's normal to us. We don't even realize how normal it is. And these programs that y'all got, which focuses on people's mental stability and being more social and understanding that, hey, this is not normal to come from that. Let's talk about it. Let's get you up out of this and get you in something that's really supposed to lead your life.
I will say it's, I think something that we often struggle with in our organization is, like Royale said, when they come into our program, we want them to be who they are. So we are affirming them, we're encouraging them, and we're telling them that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be who you truly are, you know what I mean? But then, like you said, we also understand society, and they have to put on what we sometimes call like this armor, the societal armor.
Yeah.
We only have them for 8 hours a day, but then they have to go home. And it's how do we strike that balance and, because they got to switch real quick. You know what I mean? They're in with us from 9 to 4, you know what I mean? And then 4:01, and it's like, hey, I got to be this person again. Out of survival sometimes. You know what I mean?
Two different lives.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and so it's like we have to find that balance, and it's an odd place to be in sometimes because we're trying to build them up to be these people, you know what I mean, and really show who they are, but sometimes it's not possible to show that 24/7 with them. And
Very
so
much
it's like, how do we dance with that, you know what I mean, and how do we teach them to walk through that? Because that's hard to navigate for any person of any age, let alone 13, 14, 15, 16. You know what I mean? To say,
critical
hey,
years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Teenage years are the
really
most
hard.
critical years.
Well, and they become family.
Right.
So whether it's Bloom, whether it's Voices, upon entry into that program, it's not like, all right, well, we'll see you during business hours and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Right.
They become family. And I think that the relationship is the biggest piece. And, when we talk about mentoring, when we talk about even when we look to hire staff, we have to be intentional having people who understand you don't clock out with this. We had a former student who was killed a few weeks ago. And that was very difficult because he was a great kid. He wasn't about any foolishness. And even if he was, it doesn't justify it. And so, when they're with us, we try to really maximize the level of engagement. We clown all day. Like we do the social skills, the life skills, but we have fun. We have to realize that engagement, you have to have humor. My assistant Aaron, he does a great job on catching those moments where it's like, yes, I got this really positive moment. He puts it out there. We don't hear enough about how awesome these guys are. And so if we can catch them and put them, Student of the Week picture on Facebook, or I know Royale was on a video today that was on Instagram because he was preaching. Like we want to see those moments because they don't have to have that armor with us. They can legitimately just be teenage young men. They don't have any responsibilities that they may have in society. And that takes pressure off because that is hard.
But it also allows us to call them on their crack too.
This too.
Because we develop those relationships. It's like you have to tell, at the end of the day, you're still a black man in this country.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so it allows us that space to call them out when they are not living up to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And understanding what that really means and the weight that carries. And so I know that I do that a lot with them. Talk about integrity, being, who you really are, standing on your word and how important that is. And so that relationship building allows us to do that in other ways where it might not be possible.
So the one that canceled tonight, he gonna get it tomorrow.
Well, tough love is needed. Yeah.
I want to ask our younger guests just some questions in regards to, just so we can spotlight you guys. Absolutely. And because we love to hear from you and you guys, like, I truly believe that we can learn from young people. We're never too old
Absolutely.
to learn from them. So, one of my first questions, it's like a pop quiz question,
Come
but
on,
not
pop
really.
quiz.
But not really. So, but because I'm very interested in the way y'all think and what y'all think. So if you consider, because I know you guys are paying attention, even though we think you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world. How do you feel like you fit in regards to where we're going? At least let's just say America. Where we're going in America. How do you guys fit into that? And I'll kind of give you something to veggie back on. Like, for example, I had a student, an 8th grader, that basically said, they feel like they're responsible for fixing the problems that we have created and that our parents created. Like, your generation is going to be responsible for fixing all this damage. Do you agree or disagree? Like, where do you see yourself fitting into all that?
You start with you, James.
Okay. As far as whether or not it's the parents' fault, I don't think it's the parents' fault because different things come with different generations. And,
so I love to hear them talk.
like not all like parents from, like, say for instance your generation are the same. So some people might grow up like how we would grow up now, just without like technology and stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So like if I was like known to like walk to school every day or something like that, somebody could do that like back then too. It's not like something different. It's just a generational thing. So whatever like trend there is, it feeds into that and it creates what the generation is. So as far as me, fitting into the future of America, I think definitely the drive that Gary people have, I think everybody needs to have that to contribute to a better future. Because I mean, it takes a lot to fix the whole country. So and even when we think we fix it, it's still gonna have its flaws. So yeah.
Okay, good answer.
Like that perspective.
Come on, Mr. Politician.
I feel like some of the it stays like that. I feel like this being our generation, this being when we fix stuff, because I feel like, what do you think? Because I feel like, yes, the generations prior to us, they have a lot of knowledge about stuff, but that was in their generation. Like Chance was saying, with new generation comes new things. Sure, what we have now is somewhat effect of prior generations, but whether or not it stays like that is up to us because we create the future. This is on us now. Regardless of how young we are, thinking that we can't change something, or how old we are, thinking that we can't change something. I feel like it is on us. I don't really have a political stance, but I definitely feel like
it's good because the politics is crazy right now. So having your own idea for what you feel like it should be or become is a good thing.
Right.
You know, because I think, and not to cut you off, but I think what's happened even to a lot of adults is that the media and all these different places have decided what you are for you. And a lot of people have ran with that because they're comfortable with that. Some people are comfortable being with Democrat. Some people are comfortable being Republican, and they don't even know why.
And that's the reason I don't have a political stance. I don't know anything about politics. So why would I claim a political stance? Why would I claim to be Democrat or Republican when I don't know too much about that? I don't want to be one of those people who are like, oh yeah, I'm Democrat. People say, why? My mom is. So
I love it.
Like, no, I don't. I personally don't know anything about Democrats. So why would I claim that? And then get wrapped into political situations where people expect me to say something because I claim to be to have a political stance.
The one thing I want y'all to take in consideration is we live in a country that is capitalistic and it's ran on politics. Don't disengage from politics.
Right.
But don't be a victim of politics. So engage, but don't let it run you. Make your own decisions. What we're facing right now is a local political battle. a lot of people think that politics and voting is just about who's the next president. It's really about where you live at. The people who are making decisions on your behalf. There's a lot of town hall meetings that are taking place that these people aren't promoting for you to go to. They put it on their website, and you have to go through 18,000 pages to find it to say this, to see that it was yesterday. You know, so what I want y'all to do as young people is realize that you don't have to get engaged in politics, but don't disengage either, because there's things happening right in front of your face. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I absolutely understand what you're saying. So how I don't know anything about politics, and that may be the reason why I don't have a political stance. I should at least inform myself about them. It's okay for me not to have a political stance as long as I am up to date and knowing what is going on around.
What's going on, especially locally.
That's right.
Local is the big thing.
I wanted to hear from you on that answer. You want me to restate the question?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you feel like? Look, I'm old. I can't even remember my question.
Basically, you saying, do I think my generation should fix the problem?
Yeah. Are you guys? Do you feel like that it is your responsibility as you get to be a little older to fix some things that generations prior to you have done?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel as us as individuals play a big part onto what's happening today. But my generation is the ones that's making the problems, because think about how many young black males have been victims to gun violence this year. Our generation is the ones that's out here making the problems. It's not really our generation, it's ours. All these teenagers, they don't even want to fight no more, they want to shoot. So I wish I could make a change in that and like take a stance and make my environment better, but I already know when you try to talk about something positive, my generation tends not to listen to it.
So what is your response? Do you continue to speak positively regardless, or do you?
Yes.
Good.
As an individual, I'm always be positive and think on the brighter side of what's going on around me and my surroundings.
There's a saying that says, "Teach one like you're teaching 1,000." So even if you just got one person from your neighborhood that's listening, that's watching, that's all it takes.
That could be enough to lead to millions.
That could be enough.
Yeah, but at the same time, my generation probably look at me like I'm young and I probably don't know what's going on. Because it's another saying, blind can't lead the blind. So, they'll probably never
listen to this man.
What I'm saying.
But you're not blind, though.
Right.
I know. I see a lot. I know.
You're showing too much humility, man, to be blind.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, also with your generation, like those same people, because it happens. We can attest, us older people can attest that those same people. We are older than them, is what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about old in age. Older than them. We can attest that at least I can say I went to school with people that thought the same way, that went to Northwest High School with me. The people that used to actually get kicked out of school and still hang out at school, and then talk about the people that were in school. Right. Now in their 30s and 40s, struggling, Facebook posting about what they shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Absolutely.
So, they saying it now, but trust me, later on, they'll regret it. They'll regret it.
Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
So kind of like what you were saying, the blind can't lead the blind. I kind of wanted to tie into what me and you had a conversation about with the other day. I was recently on a panel for The Hate You Give, and I was on there with all these educators.
That's a good movie. Everybody should see that.
It's really emotional too. It hit hard. But I was on a panel discussion about it, and I was there with all these educators. And they've been doing this stuff for years. They know everything. And I asked Brandon, I was like, why am I on this panel? Like I don't know as much as they do about these types of situations. And I just wanted to let you know, like, nobody can be blind. Everybody has an impact in their own way. Sure, I didn't know as big as a vocabulary as everybody else, and maybe I didn't know the statistics on the rate of young African Americans being killed and stuff like that, but I did have something to say. And what I said impacted, because I was a part of the youth. So I mean, sure, they knew all these statistics and stuff like that, but that, this is my generation. So regardless of what I'm doing, I'm making an impact because I'm talking youth to youth. You see what I'm saying? I'm giving a message to the youth from the youth.
Right.
So,
and the people on that panel all agreed that the one group of people that we don't listen to enough is the youth.
Right, absolutely. And this is what we're facing. You know, we live in a generation where people feed things that they don't support because they want the money. So that's why a lot of programs are being funded, but there's nothing happening.
Right.
You know, now we got some programs that are legit, actually really helping people. But you know, you get a program that start up in a place where they never had money before, and you get some leaders who never had money before, and now it's a clothing show. You know, it's like, okay, are we helping the community or are we dressing good? You know, like which one is it? You know, and the problem with that is like, if you get money to help people, and if you can't do it as an organization, pull other people in. There's enough for everyone to support, and we're obligated. The other generation, I'll just use this as an example. Look at Asians, Latinos, and Caucasian folks. Look at what they're doing with their look how much they invest. Look how engaged they are with their children. We need to become the same thing. We had a rough fight. We had a rough fight. We here now, and we giving y'all some light because we really appreciate y'all and we love y'all. We want y'all to know that we got y'all back. Y'all got help out here. If y'all willing to accept the help, if y'all willing to see that we love y'all genuinely and that nobody is out to get you, and there's people out to get you.
Absolutely.
But you have to recognize that the change starts with you as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of programs, in my opinion, fail because they don't do what Kia and what Bloom and Voices are doing.
Yeah.
Because what they do is it's inclusive. So it's not just adult led, it's also youth led as well. So I wanted to ask the youth again, and I keep turning it back on the young people because we want to hear from young people.
Yes.
What would you say is, because we don't ask y'all enough when we start these programs, start these endeavors or whatever, we don't ask y'all, what do you want? We don't ask y'all what works. You know, we assume, and then y'all sit there and look bored, or y'all just don't show up, you know, or y'all just come for the candy and the snacks, and then y'all, or the free pencils and pens, and then y'all bounce and y'all out. So just want to hear from y'all. What is the recipe? What do you guys want? Or what is the good ingredients for a strong health program that will get you guys engaged, that will get young people out there engaged in a youth program?
Let's start with you this time.
Yeah, let's start Royale. Let's go.
Come on, T.I.
Can you say that again?
I'm sorry, because I use a lot of words. I've been working on this for like years. But what do you think what do you guys need for a good program?
Yeah.
So what do you guys need? Like what if we were to ask advice, Royale, I want to start a program for youth. What should I do? What do you guys need? Yeah, what should it be about? What do y'all need? Support?
There's barely enough support out here.
All right, tell us about support. Define support.
Support. I mean, most people must feel like they got it on their own. They don't need no support, but everybody needs support.
Okay, tell me, what kind of support?
Like,
is it money? Is it like you need somebody to hear you?
Emotional support.
All right, okay.
Mental.
So you need mental health services, or that means like if you need someone to talk to, if you have if you feel like I don't know,
nobody understands
whatever
you.
helps.
If you feel like you've been through traumatic situations and you need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, basically whatever helps, like feel like somebody is there for you in your corner.
Okay.
Everybody ain't against you. Support.
Okay. Support.
Are you going? But would you just talk to anybody, or does there have to be a level of trust there?
That was gonna ask that trust.
Yeah, it is a level of trust because I'm gonna be honest too. If I come to you and feel like you don't care about what I'm talking about, I'm not gonna keep sharing things with you.
Absolutely.
So you need to know that person can relate and that they actually really are understanding and care. Okay.
Yeah,
what else?
If I come to you and I feel like one thing going in the ear and out the other, then I'm not gonna continue talking.
Okay. All right. What else?
Oh, okay. I just didn't know.
It could be any of you guys. It doesn't even have to be in order. Just talk.
So since last time I was here, I went through a military academy called Hoosier Youth Challenge Academy. And kind of how things were there was, so tying into what you said about things being youth-led, there were designated leaders.
Okay.
So we were taught by the adults. And after they taught us, we kind of ran everything around.
Nice.
You know, it was kind of up to us to help one another out, and the adults just kind of sat back, but input when needed too. When they saw that things could be going a better way, or they saw that things were kind of, you know, getting a little rough, they would step in, talk to the leaders, like, hey, I think we should do something like this, and then the youth get all together and like, okay, this is how we're gonna do this. And another thing I think it has to do with is just research. You know, just how, so kind of like what you're doing now, asking us how things can be different. I can't speak for all youth, you know, because I don't represent all youth. I'm an individual. But I feel like a lot of it, just how we, as students, we go into our history classes and we read these books and these articles and these websites about people before us. I feel like adults can do that as well. There's a lot of things out there that, and articles written by youth about how things could be better. And I feel like a lot of it just has to do with going through that, reading these different articles about youth and then how things could be better for us. So I feel like a lot of it just has to do with research and finding answers.
Well, you know, I'm all about positivity and love, right? So
love.
What I'm thinking for a great program is kind of like a mixture of what they said. I'm thinking a program that shows genuine love, not just love, genuine love, because people could come and say that they love you but don't really mean it.
Right.
So, so like Brandon said, they don't clock out. So, like, we expect for somebody to come and be like, hey, I love you, and actually mean it. So, and also another thing, I think that type of thing should be youth-led, because especially as black men, we don't hear that, like, I love you from other men. Because it's seen as being like quote unquote gay or soft, Right. So I think that would be like helpful, especially if people don't like know that type of thing. So they grew up with like, say, single parent home, mostly like mother, and raised around women. So they probably need like somebody like youth around their age, because people, I think we said before, kids are more influenced by other kids. So if it's a youth-led like love type program, then other kids is gonna like attract to that. So.
And just saying something real quick, exactly what Chance and Brandon were talking about. Consistency is key. A math teacher can't come in one day, teach a lesson, then not come back to and expect for us to remember, especially for youth that haven't had anybody be consistent with them before. If you come in even for a little bit and you think you're being consistent and then you stop that consistency, that breaks trust with your youth. They're not going to be able to look at you the same. They're going to be like, oh, you was just like so and so prior to you, so and so. So I feel like a lot of it just has to do with consistency. You need to constantly be there, and like you were saying about it doesn't clock out. This is 24/7. Even if it's just a, hey, how you doing today? You know, outside of work. You know, at first it might be a little, you know, they might be a little uncomfortable. Like, why are you texting me outside? You know, that's weird. I'm not used to that. But as you continue to go on, it builds a relationship, like you were saying as well. Because then it is like family. You have somebody constantly checking up on you, even if it's for the littlest things, like, hey, how were your emotions today? You have a good day? Did you argue with someone so-and-so? And then they start to know things about you. They start to understand, and they can really get that empathy. They can feel as if they're in your situations because they're talking to you about them, and we're talking back. So
that's good stuff, man.
Relationship building is key, man.
Yeah.
Does this also translate over to parenthood?
Absolutely.
As kind of a rhetorical question. And I'm learning as you talk, and I'm like, oh, this is relatable to parenthood as well. How often do we ask our children, what's your emotional state?
And exactly though, because how you said that was a rhetorical question. Was it really though? Because there can be parents who don't ask, and another thing that they do is they'll throw the lessons they got from their generation on us. When there's a lot more pressure on us, they'll hit you with a shrug it off, or it's not that deep, or you'll get over it, when sometimes we can't get over it. Sometimes all we want is that emotional support from our parents. Because although that's who you expect to get it from the most, that's not always the case. You don't always get that from your parents. Parents don't always say, hey, how was your day at school today? You know, you have a good day. You know, it's like, hey, you know, I come home, eat, go to bed, see you tomorrow, kind of deal. You know, they'll be like, hey, do you need clothes for school or something like that? How are your grades looking and stuff like that? And then when sometimes they'll see that you have bad grades, and then the first instinct is, why you got bad grades? I can't believe you got bad grades. Do you know why I have bad grades?
Conversation on the bad grades.
Exactly. Do you know why I have bad grades? Do you know that I'm struggling in my classes and tutoring isn't helping? You see what I'm saying? Just stuff like that.
Every style.
I think it's hard because I have two teenagers at home. 15 and 14 at Ben Davis, and I have to remind myself to give them that space to do what you're saying.
And it's so hard.
And it is the hardest. And it's so weird because I'm constantly telling the kids in the program to do this. Then I come home and I'm like,
right.
I feel you.
Get out my face.
It's so
and it's
hard.
like it's really hard to create that space, you know, as a parent. I think because for me, I'm just always in protect and survival mode with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you got to do this, you got to do it this way, and so when they come at us with things that make all the sense what you just said, it's hard. It's like our brains are wired to like just protect and guide instead of allowing that space for you to guide yourselves and things like that. It's
and the funny thing is, I'm the opposite. Like you said, with my students, I'm more of, I'm going to teach you life skills, and I'm going to teach you survival, and I'm going to teach you, you know, and I'm just like, I want you to learn yourself, and I'm going to guide you. I'm not going to teach you, you know, and I'm just trying to prepare them so much. But like you said, when it comes to my children, I'm like, it's like a hat. Like you take it off, and it's like you totally, for everything you just told your students, right? Because I'm trying to say
parent instinct.
And
so I totally feel you.
It's crazy.
And another thing is with kids, we're not always gonna go to our parents. You know, we're not always gonna make that first step and be like, hey mom, I'm having an issue and so and so and so and so. And then on top of that, even when we're asked, sometimes we'll be like no, but that doesn't mean stop asking. It just means ask more often, you know, because a parent can ask you, "Hey, are you okay?" And then the kid's like, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm okay, everything's fine, but you can see it in their face that they're not fine. Yeah. So it takes for that to kind of pressuring up on you, like, now not too much. Don't be asking all the time if I'm okay, but then I'm gonna not be okay.
I will.
Tell me what's wrong with you.
I'm gonna for real not be okay.
Right. Every 5 minutes. Are you sure? Are you okay?
But
are you sure?
It definitely takes that push. Especially from a parent, especially because, you know, they raise you to believe in so-and-so, and so it's not always easy to come to a parent about certain situations.
Right.
So.
That's good stuff. I think the telling thing about all of this conversation is that, you know, like we're meant to help each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like look at it like this. Like we could tell people that's in our family all day what's going on, but somebody next door could come and tell the exact same thing, and it resonates different, which means that we're all obligated to help each other. Right. We're all obligated to step up and say something or support somebody that we don't know, because that's just human nature. It's like two people can say the exact same thing, your mom and a stranger. The stranger say it, and it makes all the sense in the world. They're like, she's stupid on times, and then somebody else says like, yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was gonna do. You know, but
what? Well, I think that's why I think for us it's important, because we like our voices is a safe space. You know, I'm not gonna be naive and say that we can protect from everything, because the world is not a safe space.
No.
But when they're with us, they can tell us things that maybe they don't feel comfortable talking about to their parents. And, you know, when we get to know them, you know, they come in, like if Royale were to come in and not say anything at all, there's an alarm that goes off of like, that's not how he usually operates. And so, you know, we have to be able to be responsive to that, be aware, and let them know. Because like he said, if it's going in one ear out the other, or young people have this radar of realness.
Yes, they
like
do.
if you are fake off top, I don't fool with you. Like I'm not.
Yes, they do.
And so like they know who was really about you know, that life. And so I'm so grateful that I have been able to work for an organization that is supportive of that type of approach. Because I worked with other organizations that were like, yeah, we're just gonna need the reports. You know, thank you. See you tomorrow. But here it's like we getting phone calls. I had a kid call me at 1 a.m. because he was working downtown. The buses don't run. And mom and dad were like, absolutely not coming to get you.
Wow.
And I lived right around the corner. And so I was like, I suppose, you know, come and scoop him up. And it's just that type of support village.
She would have said, hold on for a
But
second.
see, that's what I'm talking about. Is that balance. They know who to call. Don't
Right.
call me no one like that. Why didn't you plan ahead? You knew you had to be at work. Why didn't you have a ride or Uber or something? You know what I mean? So it's that good balance. They know who to call.
No, Miss Kia, I did have a ride.
That's
You know, it
right.
fell through.
On the side.
Life.
And she'll just sit there and just like,
Life.
She'd be like, I know, that's
Next
cute.
to
I can see you
Jesus,
doing
next
that.
to
Jesus.
Life lessons, life
As long
lessons.
as he lets me in when I
I'm in
get
this
there.
bed. Hey, I'm not getting out this bed at the one in the goddamn morning.
Call me.
But man, I want to ask y'all, both of y'all, right? And you know, you can be as transparent, you know, as you want. But you know, I know the core of y'all want to help people, right? You know, the youth, right? So do y'all ever hit a point where y'all get burnt out, where y'all feel like, man, you know, is this all worth it?
Every day.
Okay.
And that's just being
Yeah.
honest. I
Yeah.
think
What do y'all do to balance that out, though?
I haven't
Or
figured it out.
or to just, you know, or to just go through that wall?
I tell my staff every day, we are planting seeds that we might not see grow, right? And so we have to keep that in mind to do this work. It is emotionally draining almost every single day.
It's a calling, man.
It is. But it's a reality check that these young people are living lives that I couldn't imagine as a grown person,
Adult
right? So I don't get to
situations.
complain. You
Yeah.
know, my job is just to guide as best as I can. But you have to find a balance. And I think we all struggle with that because
Yeah.
of how deeply rooted we are in this work. It's
Right.
not easy. It does not turn off. You know, Brennan
Not
answers
at
the
all.
phone at 1:00 in the morning. And so, I mean, it's hard. You have to find that self-care balance, you know. And for me, I got, you know, babies. You know, I have a newborn, a 3-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old. They're in quiet. I mean, so it's like, how do I devote that much time to my family? How do I devote this much time to them? And it's hard. I think just having a strong support system
Thank you.
and
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
is key. People that know, you know, why we
understand,
do
yeah.
this is key. I think knowing again that these seeds will click
right.
at some point, you know, keeps us going. But yeah, I haven't figured that balance all the way out yet.
How about you, Brandon?
So for me, so I'm also in school. So I do voices, I do Bloom, don't sleep, I go to school. And the funny thing is, like, Kia and I's relationship is so interesting. Like last week, it was 2 weeks ago, we weren't talking to each other because you know, we had grant deadlines due. We had an event that we were planning, and it's like it hit a climax, and it was like, I'm not talking to you till the event, and she's like, and that's fine. But the fact that we get each other, and same with Arnetta, like Arnetta. Shout out to Arnetta. Arnetta and Kia are very similar, and so they both sit upon my shoulders. I'm surrounded by the most amazing black women, and I realize that as a white male, I am in not only a position of privilege for that, but I get to surround myself with amazing black women, and so that escalates that level of privilege because I get like all of the wisdom that a lot of other white folks don't get. But I'm gonna tell you where.
Tell them again,
listen,
child.
and shout out to Sherry out in the hallway.
Absolutely.
Shout out to
So
Sherry.
here's
She beat
what
me
does
up
it
in
for me.
elementary school.
So I
deserved it.
I was in court with a kid on Friday. This kid was with us for 8 months. That's longer than any kid we've ever had.
Okay.
Shout out to Tiptoe. When we went to court, the public defense, I handed the kid a certificate of achievement, and I almost lost it because this kid wanted to quit GED. He wanted to quit the program. He had a lot going on, but he pushed through. His perseverance is my motivation.
There you go.
Because I was talking about this to Jaden the other day. There's a meme, and it shows this like rabbit mining. And it's like, you about to give up, and the biggest carrot is right there.
Right.
But you excited because you got this little carrot. I want them big carrots. I want to see these kids just be the great leaders that they already are. We're not making them leaders. They're already there. We're just allowing them to amplify that and show other people.
Right.
And so I think that's what does it for me. And I stay at home a lot and watch Netflix. Like, balance is real, but
Yeah.
you know, it's seeing their progress, it's seeing the relationships that we've been able to develop. that's what's the motivation for me.
Wow.
I want to ask our youth again. How important is it for you to see adults being transparent with you? Like how you hear Brandon and you hear Mr. Brandon, and I don't know if y'all call him Brandon and Kia, Mr. Brandon, Miss Kia. You hear them being vulnerable and being transparent about they have home life situations. You know, how important is it for you guys to know that adults and even hear their vulnerability and hear them being transparent about their real life situations and their feelings and things like that? How important is that to you?
Did you have something?
Yeah, it's very important. Like say for instance, I was like 4 or 5. Sugarcoating stuff is what you should do for that age. But as we get older, we need to start knowing things like the real stuff. So if you just telling us like, oh yeah, everything's fine at home, like
Still Santa Claus.
Yeah, type stuff. And then we gonna think like, oh well, he's just an angel, like he's like higher than me. But when you tell us about like your home life and like things that you got going on and your struggles as well, it makes you like on level with us, kind of. So like you're older than us, but you still have problems like we do. So it really opens our eyes and have gains that trust with you as well, because it shows that you're human just like me.
Good stuff. Jay.
What I was gonna say, I've never thought about how important it is, because that's normal. I expect nothing less. If what you're expecting of me is to pour out all these emotions and put all my problems on you so you can help me change my life around, I expect the same from you. Maybe not, all your problems. I'm a kid. I can't help you do your taxes.
They gonna send me bills, Jay.
Right.
Yeah. I got something for you.
But I definitely expect that. And like Chance was saying, it shows me that you're human, and I can respect that.
Right.
I don't expect you to be all, forget what I got going on. Let's get you done with this. And then you just carrying you, and I'm watching, because I observe everything. If I'm watching the way you carry yourself, and I can tell that you got problems on you, just talk. I know I'm a kid, but I have so much wisdom. It's crazy. Like you can tell me about an issue, and you wouldn't think that I could help you with it, but I really can. So I expect nothing but transparent. What's the word?
Transparency.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I didn't know if it was right, so I had to
That's what we here for.
confirm. But yeah, I expect nothing less. That's completely normal for me.
Okay. Good stuff, man. Right, yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the way it make me feel, us as individuals, it just make us feel as on the same level, like what he said. If you telling me about your problems and you trying to help me, and I hear about like what's going on your side of the grass, then I feel like on an emotional level we done connected as individuals, not as programmed.
Right.
For the people in the back.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Okay.
I just want y'all to know that, like,
I love it, man.
this does a lot for not only the people that are watching, but for us as parents, because we all have children or kids that we tend to, and meeting different children, especially not that are not your own, and hearing those kind of conversations are things that we can all take home and apply. They apply to all kids, and as adults, we're continuously going through stuff too. Some of us may not show it, or we look like Superman. We got a lot on our shoulders. That's kind of what it is as an adult. Is you really just got to put it all on your back and go for it. But we understand that you all are our responsibility, and for us to move forward, we have to be transparent with you, so that you can be transparent with us, and that we can move in the same direction together.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
And another thing I have to say about that is, if you're raising me, is raising. I do because issues, and you're not speaking up about it. What do you think I'm supposed to do when I'm mentoring?
Right.
And I feel like when not being transparent with the students that you work with, it tells them like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like also doing that, it builds up. If you're not talking to your students, and like I said, like you said, an emotional connection, we feel as if like we can't really trust you. It's like, like he's telling me all these things, but I see something wrong. He's not telling me. I don't really trust that. I'm gonna start to hide some stuff. I'm gonna hide my emotions, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Looking at him, that's what he's telling me that I need to be doing. Not every teaching is verbal.
Right.
So yeah.
I think a lot of it, and we're going to wrap up here soon.
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, a lot of it is that there are
I'm gonna
parents.
steal that one. I'm gonna Facebook post that and put it like, type it like I created
Just go
that.
back and watch the show every
Not
day.
every right.
A lot of it
Not
is
every
parents
teaching-
parenting that aren't really, they don't know how to parent. So there's a lot of parents out there that became
Love it.
parents that didn't need to be parents. So that's another thing that is
Whew,
happening.
Say that again.
And there's a lot of kids raising
Shoot.
themselves and raising their parents too.
Absolutely.
So this is the world that we're in, which is why it's important for us to make sure that these programs like this teach y'all what's really going on, like with yourself, with reality, how to be a leader. And I think, and I've always strongly advocated for this, is that kids between 8 and 12 years old should be taught life those years and say, oh, he can talk, he can tell me when he's hungry, he can. Those are the years we kind of just wean ourselves off of raising a kid for 5-6 years and babying him, and now he can walk, now he can talk, now he can do all these things. And we have been in this system where we just forget about that until you become this enraging teenager, and then we're like, what the hell happened? So we can't forget those years. Those are the most important years where you teach your kid what's really going on. That's when the birthdays might stop. You know what I mean? That for real. This is the kind of time that you have to get in and start helping them understand reality.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say, as like this get together is good because as parents, like you can teach your kid, but you also need to have something feeding into you as well.
Sure.
So like
Absolutely.
listening to us talk, that helps you with teaching your kids stuff, so that it's
Yeah.
always a cycle. So as soon as you learn, they learn.
Yeah.
Or it creates that drive for them that they always want information, so that they want to always be educated, which is good because most black young teenagers, we pushed like in the 1800s, 1700s, we pushed so hard for education for us. And then it's like nowadays, it's like if I get it, I get it.
Right.
So
Right.
like,
True story.
I got a question. My bad.
Go ahead.
Go bad. Dang.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just before we got off of it, I just wanted to tie back into what you said about
Sure.
teaching your children. Just something that clicked in my head when you said that.
Yeah.
Is I know, like, as teenagers, we seem stubborn. We seem like we don't want the information that you're trying to put out. We do want it, but we don't want it poured upon us. Because along with having to learn your rituals and what you went through with your generation, we still have to learn what's going on now. We still have to grow accustomed to the environment in which we're placed in this generation.
Yeah.
So it's not I say that because I know how I am. My mom's trying to tell me something. I'm like, yes, mom, I got it. But what's going on right now? What's going on? I got to get it. But then, you see what I'm saying? It's not that we don't want it. We just don't want it thrown on us. We don't want it poured upon us. We don't want that to be the only thing we know, and then we're left out in this generation because we can't grow accustomed to what's going on around us now because we old heads now. We 6 years old and we old heads. We know what happened in 1989, but we don't know what's going on right now.
Right.
I think also, even though I don't have any biological children, I have that one. But I also need to, I want to speak for parents, if that's even okay. We have to understand that there are a lot of parents who haven't healed from their traumas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
That's a
like,
good
there
point,
were
man.
some, I've been to several conferences where the conversation was putting a lot of blame on parents.
Right.
But there's not a lot of resources for
Other
parents.
Right.
So I think that while, yes, we have to hold parents accountable, we also have to understand that parents, especially young parents, have gone through a lot of things that they haven't healed from because they stepped into parenthood. And so they put all their focus on raising a child instead of healing from themselves, whether that's trauma from school or other systems. And so I think we have to be careful on holding parents accountable, also giving them space to process themselves. And we don't give that to parents enough.
Right. Are there programs out there for parents who feel like this is too much? I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, counseling.
There's tons of parents.
No, I mean like for real. Like, are there organizations for parents? Because there's parents that probably need somebody to talk to.
I mean, there's tons of like support group type services. There's parent engagement services, through all of the systems, whether it be a school or DCS support, whether they take advantage of it is not, is another question. I think the hardest part for a lot of programs is parent engagement
Yeah.
to even
That's
offer
true.
those services
Facts.
out. And there's a lot of barriers that come with that. You know, they're working, you know,
Yeah.
transportation, childcare. There's a lot of stuff that prevents
Yeah.
a child, you know, from a parent from
Being
getting
engaged.
those services.
Yeah.
I mean, but they are out there. I think a lot of times, you know, with parents too, it's, you know, mine had an old school mentality. When drugs, when I was, you know, what has changed that makes it so difficult for you to do
Technology
now? You
is
know what I
more
mean?
visible.
And that's what we try
It's
to
just
explain.
more
I think it's
visible.
just parents understanding that, you know, things, you know, that are occurring may not be different, but the access to it is
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Sure.
You know, we weren't overly saturated with these images and these things. You know, it was kind of in our own little, our bubble that it happened, and we had to work through that.
Yeah.
And so I think as parents being aware that it's so accessible now
Yeah.
is super important. That plays into somebody's psyche too.
Yeah,
You're seeing
absolutely.
these
Yeah.
images and
Right.
you become numb to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Nothing's shocking anymore
Mhm.
when you see, you know, death or any kind of traumatic event. So
PTSD.
Yeah.
My last
What
question
was you
then for y'all, really quick. How do y'all see your future?
It's a good question.
It's a good question.
I know that's right.
All right. From here on out, if I play my cards right, don't get into no more trouble and do the things that I say I'm gonna do,
Mhm.
I got a bright future ahead of me.
What do you want to
What are
do?
you gonna be doing?
What I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a rapper. But if that don't work out, I'm gonna do whatever opportunity God throws my way. As long as my family fed and they got clothes and shoes on their feet and a roof over their head, I'm straight.
Outside of rapping, real quick, outside of rapping, what is one thing that you find yourself thinking about or doing that is fun to you or intriguing?
Like financially,
No, just anything. It don't have to be financially.
I mean, now I think I look at everything different than I did before I got locked up. So fun, I don't really do nothing that much for fun. I'm on the band. I can't really do much but stay in the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you this. Like, everybody in this life, to me, has a gift and a purpose. Finding it is sometimes tough. But once you run into it, you know it is something that you want to do because you would do it for free all day, every day, and we call that passion.
That
And it's not
remind me-
necessarily.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
All right, that remind me of the question that he was talking about on my first day. He asked what was our purpose in life, and I told him, in order to know your purpose in life, you have to know the purpose of life. Why am I here? And nobody know that. So you're not gonna know your purpose in life until it come to you. So I don't know my purpose, but I know what I want out of life.
And
Like I
that's okay
said,
not
what
to
I
know.
want out of life is clothes on my back, shoes on my feet, and a roof over my head.
Mm.
And the same for my family.
There
That's
you go.
about it.
And it's okay not
And
to
that's
know
gonna
your
happen.
purpose, because I didn't know my purpose until
That's
I was
right, yeah,
probably
no,
20
none of us
something,
did.
30 something.
None of us did. A lot
You
of
know?
times we think we want to do
Think
something.
we know it, right?
And then something else comes on later in life and say, no, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you're going to find right away. Some people find it young.
Yeah.
Some people, and you know when people find it. You see these young kids
right.
that are good at football. They got YouTube videos. The kids are good at basketball. They find their purpose early, or somebody seen it in them. So it's just a patient thing. It'll come to you.
And one thing I can say about Royale is he's been consistent about being a rapper for 3 years now. So he is
But-
consistent.
He's a
But-
poet.
Yes.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So I mean, you're obviously passionate,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
So
sir.
get rid,
Be it.
do it.
Live it.
Learn it. Learn the study the whole history of it.
Mhm.
Be more.
Study the business side of it too.
Yep. Exactly.
Man, all of y'all,
Content changes.
all of y'all, they got some flow. And I'm gonna tell
I
y'all,
was
like,
literally just about to say, like,
all of y'all got flow.
yeah.
So I'm just gonna tell y'all like this: study the game, not the game of rapping. Study the industry, the business, because a lot of people who are on TV, it's all for show. These people understand the money aspect of it, the business side of it. There's so much that goes into being an artist that you will probably won't find out until you do some research. But
And that's when I was trying to do this fan
fortunately,
pages and stuff.
yeah, I got a couple of guys here that know a little bit about the industry, and we know some people that we can connect you with that can really put. We had Uncle Jams on. I mean, I don't know if Uncle Jams is listening, but he's one guy that will get you on the right path and is passionate about making sure that you get to the industry if you're
Shout out
passionate
to
for
Uncle
yourself. So we know what it takes, but you have to realize that don't just get in it to be a rapper. Get it to understand and study the game. A lot of the guys who are rappers and singers either wrote for someone, are amazing musicians, know how to be producers, know how to make beats. A lot of these guys aren't just rappers. They do 5, 6, 7 things to get themselves in the door. It's an oversaturated market. Being a rapper, just a rapper, is regular.
Yeah.
You got to be a rapper who can do 5, 6, 7 things. So just understand that. Don't be intimidated, but just understand that you're competing with the best of the best out here.
Keep it simple.
And a lot of these people have a lot of game. Yeah. So be prepared.
Keep it simple, man. If
Keep
you want
it
to
simple.
do it, just do it. And then just grow from that.
Do it. Just go for it. You can be the best at what you can be. Just know that. Study the game. Study the people. If you got a favorite guy that you like, right? Understand. Go watch his videos from years ago. A lot of these guys got degrees. You know what I mean? And they didn't need them, but they're smart.
Right.
It's a lot of rappers that smart. They get on TV and put on leopard skin and all this and gold hair and all this, and they got a bachelor's or a master's degree, and they just don't talk about it. A lot of these guys they understand the entertainment, they understand the game. So just all I'm saying is don't let the show fool you, because that's what happens. A lot of people do it for the show. They do it to get on TV. They do it to get the big name, and they don't understand that behind the scenes is all that matters. Having your name mentioned in paper, the royalties, the business side, the publishing, it's all important.
Yep.
All right, this has been an amazing show, man. And the feedback that y'all done gave us is just straight nuggets, like for real. I hope that the parents, and I know for myself, I done took away a few things even since last time that we talked.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
this was an awesome discussion for me. Thank y'all for coming on and taking time out y'all day. I know y'all got a busy day, and we do this show late night, so we just appreciate y'all for coming, because y'all don't have to be here, but y'all are here for the youth. And here to get these programs out, and we advocate for that as well.
Yep.
We're going to be here forever, doing this as long as we can to make sure that we get the word out and continue to be a voice for the community.
EB, you got something you want to say?
Evie, you want to close us out?
I just want to thank Brandon and Kia for just being so steadfast. I've been knowing Kia forever, been knowing Brandon forever, and they've been like the two of the most consistent people that I know in this. In the trenches. Kia, you gotta be working on like what, a 10-year anniversary now? I thought so. Yeah. So I mean, just consistent, you know. So I'm thankful for you guys for being passionate and being humble about it too, you know, because you can tell, you know, being Facebook friends, it's your life. You know, it's your life's purpose. Yeah. It's not a plaything, so I do appreciate y'all. And then I appreciate my young people. Just don't ever think that we're not listening, because you got adults that really do want to hear from you. If somebody's not listening, please believe you will find somebody that will, or put yourself in a position to where you will be heard.
I was gonna say, put myself in, they ain't got no choice but to hear what
That's
I got
right.
to say.
That's right. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Viewers, just continue to support these organizations, Bloom Project, Voices, support our young people, support our youth, and just support the gray area as well.
Yep.
Continue to
Appreciate
tune
y'all
in.
support, man.
And
Tell them real quick where they can reach Bloom and Voice Corp.
VoicesCorp.org. And we're on Facebook as Voices Corp as well.
www.bloomprojectinc.org. We're on Facebook, Instagram. The next Project King workshop for young men 12 to 18 is November 16th and 17th, and it's on growth mindset.
And the next time we do a session, we're going to get y'all back in here and y'all going to do a cipher.
Come on, Cypher.
Sound good.
Really
Come
quick,
on.
can I just say,
Go ahead.
December 8th, we are working with a couple other organizations, Inner Beauty and New Boy Mentoring, and we are doing a Guns Down, Gloves Up boxing tournament December 8th.
Nice.
And it's also going to be a Fighting Words Poetry Slam mixed in
Hands
there.
on
So
somebody.
if I can get you guys some information,
should
we are
get a
looking
ring.
for young men for the boxing tournament and for the spoken word slam. So I'll
There
get
it
y'all
is.
the information. Yes.
There it is.
Sure.
You got 3
I
candidates
can
right
get
now.
it.
You can't get inside, man.
Stop, please.
Thank y'all for
The
tuning
bigger they
in.
are, the harder they fight.
If they reach, man, you can't. Every man, my wingspan
She better
is
ask
6'9",
somebody.
You can't come in there.
Right, because my wingspan is shorter, so as you reaching, I'm uppercutting.
I'm not gonna let you
I'm
in.
gonna get in there. I'm gonna get in
It's a
there.
wrap.
Best believe I'm faster though. You bigger. Your
That's
arms
what I'm saying.
longer. But I'm faster. I'm agile.
You be as fast as you want, man.
Said I'm agile. I heard that.
On that note,
That's
we
right.
thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We
Peace,
will
peace.
get with y'all next week. Peace out.
Salute.
Peace.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having us.
Hey, no